All right, everyone. Well, welcome back. We are very luckily joined this morning by the former 1FC featherweight champion, Tan Lee, and also our first guest to ever be on 3 times in a row. So, Tan, thank you very much for joining us today, man. Firstly, to our listeners, co-host Josh can't be with us today. He's got some things he has to take care of, but always with us in spirit. So, look, Tan, first question from me, man. I just wanted to, check in and, ask how things have been for you both inside and outside of MMA since, we last spoke after the Tang Kai fight.
It's been good actually. We've gone through some life decisions and trying to figure out how we wanted to move forward since the last fight, and with training and with camp and all that good stuff and opponents. So it's been a busy and hectic, I guess you call it, an off season for the last year or so. But it's good to be back in camp and ready to go change that intro you gave me to future.
Definitely.
Former and future.
Former and future. There you go. So, Tan, I wanted to know, we've heard from a lot of champions that, if they're in a situation where they do lose the belt in a tough fight, a lot of their circle can kind of switch up on them and show that some people were maybe only really around for that benefit of being, associated with a world champion. Did any of that happen for you? Or, have you built, a pretty good circle around you of people that, really have your back and, where that really wasn't a concern?
Yeah, I think so. A long answer to that question, I guess, is it first starts with setting up that circle the right way, right? I think I do a pretty decent job, in my opinion, of having my close circle truly a close circle, right? It's like a small, close circle that it's family and then friends that are basically family. And then everybody, which is, not a negative thing, but everybody outside of that is on like the next ring of friendship, right? And then you've got like multi layers of rings is kind of how I think of it. But, nobody in that inner circle would ever waver, whether I retire, whether I, stop doing this or start losing 10 fights in a row, none of that changes. And then everybody that I would even have an ounce of thought of whether this person would change sides or change their attitude towards me, they were never in that inner circle anyway. It's nice being able to trust everybody that's in that inner circle. And then, not that it's a club that a lot of people want to get into, but it does take a lot of time and effort and friendship and teamwork and, all those words to get into that inner circle. So, it's not a door in which people go in and out of freely. It takes a lot of time and a lot of trust to get to that level. And once you're there, you never leave, as weird as that sounds. But, expectation. If the expectations are set right with your friendships and your acquaintances or whatever you want to call them, partners and blah, 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 I think you're never let down,
For sure. So, Tan, I was wondering if you could speak to, maybe the small positives that came out of the last fight, whether it was, it allows you to technically reassess anything or, to give you some time to just expand your skill set as a mixed martial artist. Can you speak to some of the small positives that did come out of the last fight?
Yeah, we're always pulling positive and negative things from each fight, from each experience, whether the experience result was positive or negative. I try to do my best to take things for as they are and try to run with it in either direction, either get better from it or continue to build upon it. A couple of positive things was it was nice being able to go into the championship rounds, 4th and 5th rounds, and really continue to try to go after hanging on to that belt and trying to get that win, even though we didn't come out on the positive end of that. I know where my mindset was. I know where my approach was. Him and I know how the fight felt towards the championship rounds, no matter how it looked from the outside. So there were a couple of good things that we can pull from that. Obviously, always keeping that championship mentality, being able to go through the 4th and 5th rounds with that much, in my opinion, activity, and a lot of info to build from, a lot of emergency reactions from Tang to build upon and kind of, be able to recreate and create the scenarios that we want to recreate in this fight. And I think, honestly, I don't think the fight looks close to the last one at all. Not because I think I'm going to win and I think he's going to lose, but I think the overall look of the fight is going to look very, very different, and that can always be, can only be a good thing in my direction.
For sure. So, Tan, we saw after the fight that, you took a small vacation with, the family. How was that, man? And, how vital was it in just, helping you reset, just being able to, get away for a little bit and just have some time with, the people that really matter, as you say, the people that are in that inner circle?
It was good. It obviously could have been better.
Yeah.
I could have been doing the vacation as a world champion still, but we ended up having a not so great result. But spending time with my family and really, really close team that's what it's all about. I could never step foot in a cage again and still have those experiences, and we'll never forget those times, right? That you spend in the good and bad times. I think being able to, take my mind off of things and do my best to not think about the fight and how it played out. Obviously, taking that little vacation away from training was nice because the leg was beat up. Well, both legs were beat up. He did a really good job there. So taking that time to be able to chill, enjoy Thailand. I love the country. I'm so excited to be able to visit again. But the last couple of times that I've gone have all been wonderful, wonderful experiences, and the people of Thailand have been phenomenal to me. So no complaints in that department.
Yeah, good to hear. So when we last spoke, we were talking about Volkanovski and where he was going and some of the options that were open to him. And obviously, since then, the Islam Makachev and Volkanovski fight has played out. I was wondering if you watched the fight, and if you did, did it play out how you expected, or was there anything in particular that surprised you?
So there were a couple of things that were really nice that played out in the fight. His work with Craig Jones was obvious in that fight. The way he used some jiu-jitsu techniques to counter the forward pressure and the forward wrestling of Islam was beautiful. Honestly, I didn't know how it was going to go once Islam got him to the ground, and it was really nice to see some of the things that I use and that I work on work really well against that style of wrestling. It was very impressive. You know, I didn't think Volk was just going to go out there and get washed. I'm not sure exactly what my quotes were in the last fight, but I believe if I had to bet my house on one or the other, I said I would pick Islam. He happened to win the fight, but I was very impressed with Volk's performance. It was a very, very close fight. I still haven't watched it. Usually I watch those close fights a second and third time, so I can't give you a reassessment pick on who I think won the fight. But the biggest thing that stood out, honestly, was Volk's ground counter, wrestling counter techniques that he used, and it seems to be with his work from Craig Jones, and it's been very impressive.
For sure. So, looking ahead to the rematch with Tang Kai, I'm sure you've watched the fight back a few times now. I was wondering, how did you assess the fight and break down the tape? And, did that change at all watching it, maybe right after the fight compared to, a few months down the line where, you sort of had some time to process it and think about it? Did you break down the tape any differently?
So I think immediately after the fight, I felt one way. During the fight, I felt one way. And then being able to break it down with close friends and great minds of the sport, honestly has made me feel a little better about the performance, even though it was honestly a shit performance. And, the adjustments that needed to be made on my part didn't happen. And the adjustments that I did make to the game plan were honestly just terrible. It was no excuses. Like, 100% is my fault. Everything I named was up to me, and it was my fault. But it was a great learning experience, honestly. Some of the positive things that, we took away from the fight were some of the shots that we landed to create, more of that running style that he was doing to bail from the power and the attacks that I was bringing. And we are going to see, there we go. And we are going to continue to present that danger in the next fight. And I think we can only go up from where we're going to build on
Mm.
that. But yeah, reassessing um, with the team, reassessing with even my family. Like it was really good to be able to take some time, process everything, and then understand. Like my mind kind of goes to where a lot of fighters you hear them talk about being emotional right after the fight and watching the fight replay, and then a few months later they get to kind of settle down and just look at the facts and use that build. I feel like I do that really well immediately after the fight. We'll look at things and kind of break things down, but take your emotional side of it completely out.
Mm.
And we do that good from jump, but obviously time to process always makes it better. So it's been really really awesome to be able to break things down and take all of that information, 25 minutes of info and data that we can use to use it against them.
Yeah, for sure. And, as you said earlier, it was such a high paced fight. I was watching it back in preparation for the interview, and there was so much going on in every single round that I have to almost stop, wind it back a little bit, and go, I just missed so many things there. But look, while not going into the technical game plan for the rematch, has your focus in camp been on, adding some new layers to your game or more fine tuning the technical aspects that you already do so well? Or, is it kind of a bit of both?
No, honestly, camp has been a big focus on just tactics and strategy. Um, I think the version of me that was fighting him in August could 100% win the fight, and should have. But because of some errors that I made mentally, um, that didn't happen. And if we ran that back immediately after the fight, honestly, I think we would have gotten a different result. I'm sure a lot of fighters feel that way in assessing fights and how they
Mm.
lost and this and that. But that's truly how I feel, and we have notes and video breakdown and internal commentary to kind of back that up. So we have a lot of info to show for ourselves that this fight won't play out. It won't look anything like what the first fight looked like, and then B, just being able to just take what we can from the fight and always improve. And
Mm.
we have improved skills. We have improved tactics. We've done a bunch of work with a lot of my buddies. Ryan Hall has always been in my corner. Has always helped me from ever since we met on The Ultimate Fighter. We're getting more and more help from a buddy of mine, Corey Sanhagen. And then obviously we're looking for great, strong minds, and Greg Jackson has helped me a lot. Also, this camp, along with my existing team, my brother and longtime coach Vin Lee, and then my coach from day one, Sean Gayton here at Mid City. So
Mm.
it's been awesome adding to the team and really feeling like like we're going to be the best version of Tan Lee that you've ever seen, and that's cool because this is the oldest one you've ever seen, and I'm so much better now than I ever have been.
For sure. Well, look, Tan, look, last two questions from me, man. I really don't want to keep you too long. We really appreciate you giving us some time as always. But with one finally having its debut show in America this weekend, it seems like it's the perfect time almost for this rematch to go down for you, with a potential influx of, new fans from America about to,
Mm-hmm.
become exposed to one and become new fans. Does that motivate you even more to go out there July 14th and really display your full repertoire as a mixed martial artist and display everything that you are as Tan Lee the fighter?
Yeah, it's always nice to have more of those eyes because that's why we do this, right? This is an entertainment based sport, and it all relies on the fans, and we're so appreciative of those guys from all over the world. And then now getting even more eyes from my own country is awesome. I couldn't ask for a better situation. But to answer the question, does it give me more motivation? The answer honestly is no.
Mm.
It's nothing could possibly motivate me more, get me in the gym more than losing that last fight. There is nothing that could make it more motivating. I
Mm.
lost that belt. He beat me at something that I consider being one of the best at, and he beat me in that game. Those first 5 rounds, he won. So now round 6 starts come July 14th, and it's we won't get to 10. I promise you that.
Yeah, for sure. And look, man, final question. When are we going to see some full length episodes from you and your brother on some gym skits? As, you guys have really been doing some bits and you got to give the fans what they want, man.
Hey, I get it. for sure, we're gonna do more and more. We just finished filming a little bit of just to give y'all some inside scoop. We're doing just some food reviews with I'll do like a fighter healthy version, low cal version, and he's gonna go all out on the fatty side. And we're gonna bring you some content going with that. And then yeah, we got a few skits lined up, so we'll start dropping those in a little bit. But
Yeah.
we're staying busy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, look, Tan, thank you so much for joining us today, man. We really appreciate you as always, giving us a bit of time. It means a lot to us. Wishing you all the best for camp, man. July 14th. We know you're going to go out there and secure that belt. And as you say, it's not going to go past that. It's not going to go the full 5 rounds. So, Tan, all the best, man. And we'd love to talk to you once you get that belt.
Absolutely. Y'all hit me up and I'll definitely be on. Thank you.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you, man.
All right, bro.